what's up, everybody? This is Reuben, the Reuben podcast, the Reuben Show. I don't know. We're not calling it the Reuben podcast. Strike that. Anyways, I wanted to talk. Okay, we're on location here. We're like in the desert somewhere. I'm not telling you where I'm at, but I thought it'd be fitting. I posted a thing of like where I'm gonna be at, so I'm probably gonna lose daylight. But we're gonna shoot this. We're gonna shoot this episode, and I have my portable mic here, and so yeah, we're on. And so we're shooting. So I wanted to tell the story about how I became a ranch hand. I did this yesterday, and I thought it was the coolest feeling that I've ever had, right? So, and I'm going to relate this to the world of trucking. So, one of the things that, when you make judgment about trucking, you say, oh, I could do that job, I could do this job, I could do all these jobs, right? So you say to yourself, it's an interesting dynamic of the experience. The experiences make everything, right? So let me tell you a story. So I got invited to go work, to go help out on a farm, on a cattle ranch. Cattle ranch? I think that's what you call it, cattle ranch, where they grow some high-end cows, some amazing cows. So I have never been on a farm. I have never been up close to any kind of big animals. Like, it's not that I'm nervous. I'm a city kid. I was born in South Central Los Angeles, and I do get out, and I have been to farms, but I've never been very close to the animals, right? I respect like if I've gone to farms before and I see other animals at the farm, I give them their distance. I'm not that type of person that's gonna be like, oh, let's pet the cow, let's pet the horse. I don't do all that. I respect it. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. I've seen enough viral TikTok or YouTube or whatever videos that I know that that's not something you want to be doing. So if the audio is good in this video, let me know, please, because I've kind of thought about this and racked my brain about it. But anyways, so I get invited to go to this place, and of course there's gonna be hard work there, but I'm all about the adventure and I want to go see what's going on. So I go over there, and I have no experience. So let me give you this context story. So I wanted to buy some cowboy boots. I didn't have any cowboy boots to go over there, and all I had was my walking shoes that I have, right? Since I'm on vacation, I didn't expect to be going on an adventure like that. And so I did not want to buy cowboy boots and people see that they were absolutely brand new. I didn't want to show that they were absolutely brand new. And I didn't want to embarrass myself, right? So that's kind of like the gist of the whole thing. So I just was like, I got to go with the shoes I have, right? And like, am I gonna, and I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I'm gonna step on cow poop and all this other stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna step on that. I'm gonna be able to be able to control myself or whatever. And absolutely not. Let me tell you, the story was that I stepped on a bunch of cow poop because we're not experienced in being in that environment. So anyways, so I have never been in front of one of these big giant cows or the bulls, and the sheer magnitude and size of these things was, interestingly, I felt so deprived as a human being that I've never been this close to horses. There was no, so it was just awe-inspiring to me. I never was like, oh, it's a stupid cow. Relax, okay? So I go out there and I'm helping out wherever I can, right? I jump in there, right? I'm with friends and everything, and so I want to be useful, right? I want to be useful. I want to help out, and I thought it was going to be a fun experience. I know it's we're going to do work, right? And that's what I was there for, right? To help out and to be useful and to experience that. So I was thankful that I was allowed to come over there and have a great experience, and it was a great experience. There was zero negatives about it. Although I tell you what, when I went to sleep last night, I slept like a baby. And so anyways, right? So first things first, we got to corral the cows. Right? And we got to put them in another pen. I didn't know about these pens, right? That the pens are used to section them off, to separate them from the mamas, from the papas, from the bull, from the mothers. And I still don't even know all the names, heifers and cow. I don't know all the names. So if I get all this wrong, please light me up in the comments, right? We're just trying to have an adventure and have a good time. And so immediately in my head, I went to like all these videos. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So the person that invited me says, well, you've done this before, right? Absolutely not, I haven't. Absolutely, I have not done this before. He's like, okay. I said, I'm going to pay it. Don't worry. My head will be in a swivel. I'm a fast learner. I will pay attention. I have respect for these big animals. We're not going to take anything like I'm not standing behind a horse. Okay? And there's some beautiful horses, by the way. Beautiful horses, by the way. So I was on foot, and immediately I go into the pen and help them corral the cows so they could be put into another pen so they could be separated, right? That's the way it works. And the bull was in there, right? And so, of course, I have no understanding of knowledge of what's going on here. And so all I could go off is cartoons and movies and what I don't understand, okay? What I don't understand, okay? So there's that whole dynamic, right? So, and so anyway, so now I'm in the pen with the cows. And in my head, I'm being like, be brave, Reuben. Be super brave. Wear your brave face and pay attention and be on super high alert. And that's what I did. And the cows were more scared of me, but they were just amazing, big, majestic animals. I mean, you got to go see this. This was amazing. From a city kid to being invited, it was just the most amazing. I was so awe-inspired, and everyone's like, yeah, stupid cow, so what, Reuben? You're a dummy. Yeah, okay, I don't care. I'm just conveying to you on podcast episode number 3 of The Reuben Show. Subscribe, like, follow, and everything of what my experiences was. So if you think it's stupid, great. If you don't, great. Either way, all I know is I had a fabulous time. A fabulous time. Okay? I'm working out there. We stepped on cow poop like right off the jump, right? We popped that cherry like boom. So now I'm like, we just got to keep going, right? So I was like, how do I be useful and helpful in here, right? Because I'm literally like dead weight. I feel like I'm a link in the chain that like I'm the weakest link in the chain. Like I'm the equivalent to like a boat chain, a tanker chain, and I'm like dental floss, right? I'm zip ties, right? If we're securing a load in trucking, I'm zip ties. That's what I am. I feel like I'm zip ties out there. I'm zip tied up, trying to be useful. I'm trying to hang to my friend to close, but he's a cool dude and everything. And I'm trying to hang on, but I was like, I gotta go, Reuben. You gotta be brave. You gotta go with the flow, and you gotta pay attention to what's going on, and you gotta be useful. So then I went out there useful, and I was like, hey, try to like do my part. I just try to do my part. That's all it is, right? Do my part, right? I'm having a blast. Internally, I'm crapping my pants, but also at the same time, I'm having an amazing time, right? Is that possible? I'm freaking out, but I'm having a great time. I have a smile on my face. I probably look like a dork, but I don't care. I was having a great time. I had my Carhartt sweater on. I had my work pants on. I even went to the store, okay? The night, as soon as I got the call and got invited to this, I went to the store and I bought some ranching socks. That's about as far as it went. I even cinched my belt up because I was like, we about to go do some work. We about to get physical. So we corral all the cows, and then we have to weigh them, right? So here's how I felt. Like I was like, okay, Reuben, you got to be useful. Keep on trying to help out and be useful. So then the weighing machine, it's like these two metal pieces of metal, and they put them underneath, and then they put a catwalk over that. And so it wasn't working, right? And here it is. Reuben knows how to use electronics. Reuben knows computers. Reuben knows how to manipulate the system so he can get a YouTube video on how to make this stuff work. 100%. 100%. Oh, man. I forgot to put my phone on thing. I'm going to get... but anyways. So I was like, oh, here we go. Here's my time to shine, right? I can figure this out. Give me a chance. Put me in, coach. So I got in there and I started taking it apart. And guess what? I figured it out. I knew there was a purpose for me going over there, and I demonstrated my usefulness. And I earned my keep. I felt like I earned my keep as a 1 day or 10-hour ranch hand. That's where I felt. I felt that 100%. I had such a good time. I was so tired at the end of the day. I was so tired. It was the best, though. I felt like my usefulness, I felt like I earned my keep. Like, they weren't just, like, making sure that I didn't get trampled or ran over. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I felt. I felt like everybody was being super nice to me. Nobody was being mean to me or anything like that. So there was none of that, right? We were amongst men and adults. That's what we were doing. And I am going to be useful. I am going to help out in a positive way. That was in my head. I was like, that's what I'm going to be. I'm going to be useful in an adult way. And, you know, I could be given instructions. You don't have to be soft-spoken to me. You don't have to coddle me. You know, if any of you guys know me, you know that my father was the toughest boss I've ever had. I could take instructions, and I'm not going to cry and be sensitive and be soft and be like, oh, don't talk to me nicely. No, fuck it. Hey, if it means Reuben's going to get ran over by a 2,000-pound cow, there was a 2,000-pound mama cow and a bull that was just as big. Oh boy. Oh boy. So this was an amazing experience. I'm having a blast. And then we set up the pen for the little for the little cows. We set up a pen, and that was pulling the pins, moving the gates. I've delivered those gates, by the way. I have delivered those gates, by the way. And so that was like, oh yeah, I deliver stuff like that. And then we set it up, we move stuff around, and, you know, we build a little pen. And then, just, however I could help out, I was helping out. However I could help out. We unloaded a tractor that has this big old tray. It's like a big old Tupperware bowl where they chop up hay. I guess you make it into some kind of feed or, whatever it is, right? I'm like, even though I've seen all this stuff, right? I've delivered loads to farms, and I'm familiar with the farms, but it seems like going to a farm, I became simple. But I asked a ton of questions because that's my nature, though. If you guys know me, if you know me personally, you know that, number one, I don't stop talking, but number two, you're going to know that Reuben is willing to get his hands dirty and do some work just for the experience of it. That's the way Aruba Do Scuba Do works. I will work on a farm for free because I want to experience something. I don't mind helping out, being useful. That's the whole key. That's what has brought me tons and tons of success in my life, is being useful and trying to be useful to people, family, and friends, and just be a kind person. I do have an aggressive personality. This is true. And I could be mean, but in the end of the story, my general nature is I love the experience of helping people out and getting the knowledge, and then you can have cool conversations with people, and you can do it that way. And so to me, there's a tremendous value to this. Okay, so this is all a win for me. I'll never forget. And I didn't take any pictures, by the way. For the record, I didn't take any pictures because these are all Reuben's memories in there, right? Number one. Number two, I did not want to be disrespectful. Number three, I did not want to distract myself with. So I didn't want to distract myself with the cell phone. Other people had cell phones on there, but they're experienced ranchers. These guys know what they're doing. Yeah, they can ride a horse. Yes, they could do all stuff. Reuben can't do any stuff, so we're paying attention. Like, my eyeballs are like this. 45-year-old man, I'm useful. We're gonna be useful, and that was the funnest part of this whole experience. Is I just, again, so getting back to the scale, right? So I took it all apart. I looked up YouTube to find a video of how to calibrate it, but we ended up figuring out that the wires came out on the back. And I took it apart and we put it back, and the operation was continuing. The operation was moving forward 100%, and I had nothing but a good time. Then at the end, we had to put all the stuff away. Everything had to go back where it came from. All the tools, all the stuff. We took the horses. I didn't touch a horse because, number one, those are not my horses. Number two, respect. Number three, didn't want to get kicked. Number four, because we just started vacation. I'm not trying to have busted ribs. Or a broken finger at the beginning of my vacation. Absolutely, positively not. So then here was the thing, right? So this particular farm, they have cows that are Japanese. Okay? And so that at the end of all the stuff that we're going to do, we were going to basically have a nice dinner, right? And so food is a motivating factor for me. Now, I am on a fast. I've been fasting. I haven't had a meal since November 30th. But for this particular situation, I was going to 100% break my fast, to have this experience. I didn't want to seem like a weirdo. Everybody knew that I was fasting, but we're breaking the fast for this meal for good. We're going to break bread. We're going to do some hard work, and it just felt great, right? So let me tell you something, right? If you've ever had Wagyu beef, okay? Now, let me tell you something, okay? I've never had Wagyu beef, okay? I've seen it. I heard of it. I know what it is. And right off the rip, okay? So what we're going to have is we're going to have Wagyu beef burgers, okay? Wagyu beef burgers. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just appreciative of the fact that it's like I stepped in so much cow poop or crap. It's like it was so fun to me. Clean my shoes off. We kept going. They had a compressor in the garage, and I blew all the dust off me. It was amazing. I having a great time, and I was hanging around really good people, and I'm appreciative of that 100%. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, next year when we do something similar to this, I'm going to be asking about it. It was great. So, anyways, these Wagyu cheeseburgers. That's something else right there. Now, I'm a huge fan, so I'm going to fast, right? So I have nothing in my stomach. I've been fasting for literally, November 30th, December 1st, 2nd. So I'm like 48 hours in, right? 48 hours in, more or less, right? Maybe 50 hours. I don't know what it is. The whole first, half of the end of the second. So what is that? 36 hours and then another. Yeah, 48 hours in, right? And I've done a 21-day fast, but I had to break the fast for this particular situation and that's going to be the rule. I'm going to be on a fast like I haven't ate today, and this is already, and I'm just going to continue on my fast and exercise and everything, get healthy, and, do all this other stuff. But for this particular situation, I'm going to break my fast. And I'm not going to eat a whole bunch, but oh boy, that burger. Okay, the first thing that I figured out, when the burgers were not put on, they were specially prepared, and I knew something was up here, right? And the people that were going to make these burgers, the gentleman that's make the burgers, he ain't a tall teller. We like to joke and everything, and it's a great time, and I enjoy myself. But he ain't fibbing about food. Absolutely not. So he prepares these burgers, double burgers, single burgers, with cheese and onions, lettuce, tomatoes. This is by far the best burger I've ever had. I'm telling you right now, that meat is something else. It doesn't even smell like meat. It doesn't even smell like steak. It's weird. It's unreal. The healthiest stuff you can get. That's the healthiest, cleanest, most amazingest, that's a word, most amazingest burger you could get, boys and girls. That was amazing. Japanese Wagyu beef burgers. That was ridiculous. Here's the tell, right? So obviously there's a lot of people there, so I don't want to be a greedy fat boy, right? Because Reuben, I ate that first burger, and I gotta be respectful because there's a lot of people there, and that meat, like I was like, oh man, I wish I could have another burger, even though I'm not even really that hungry because I've been fasting, so your stomach kind of shrinks, and so I'm over here like thinking, okay man, I'm just gonna be quiet, sit here and enjoy what I just finished eating. It was the best, right? And so I was like sitting there, and everybody had got their plate and everything, and when my friend told me, Reuben, there's more, you want another burger, you go get a burger. Yes sir, thank you very much, I'm gonna get out and go get me a plate. That's all he had to tell me. We're gonna be respectful, but that was okay. This is the first time I've ever wanted to have a hamburger, and I don't care if you think I'm embellishing the story, okay? Whether I am or not, that's I don't care. Okay? This is the first hamburger that I ever wanted to eat where I put less condiments on it because I wanted to taste the meat. It was amazing. It tasted great. Oh boy. Oh boy. This ain't the cheap stuff. We're talking fine food. We're talking Excellent food. Jeez Louise, dude. That right there, that's strength. That is power in a burger. That grass-fed, super clean animals. Are you kidding me? That's like the highest of the high. I think the only other cut of meat that is better than that is Wagyu A5. We almost went to the mountaintop, folks. Absolutely, in terms of food. That was amazing and great, and I was appreciative. And then, of course, after we eat, we went food coma mode, but we know we had to drive home. But we got in a food coma. Again, we ain't taking no pictures, dude. Those are my memories. I'm sharing this in the podcast, and I'm telling you the story verbally. But I'm not, like I said, I didn't take no pictures because I didn't want to get myself mixed up in slipping in a situation where I got ran over or, trampled or something happened, right? I want to be there. Live in the present day moment. That's the story here. The present day moment. That's why I'm shooting, number one, I'm shooting the podcast differently because I find that interesting. I'm going to we'll make more episodes when I get back to the truck. I'm going to have it set up in the truck. We're also going to do setups in other places. I'm going to see if I can do this podcast at truck stops, different places. I find that compelling and interesting. I have some friends that maybe I can do these shows and maybe some comedy clubs before everything opens up. Maybe I can get in there. Maybe I can do something like that. I don't know. We're going to see. Because the next couple of days we're going to LA and we're going to go hang out with family. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be great. But getting back to the story about these crazy good burgers, I mean, it was unreal. That blew my mind. That blew my mind, really. And, you could see, look at me. I'm a connoisseur of food. And I went to Fogo de Chao not too long ago with one of my friends recommended it, and we went there, and that was the best place. That place was amazing. But these cuts of these burgers, the meat is unreal, dude. And it's supposed to be super healthy for you. It has like the fat. I mean, I was Google searching it today, just figuring out information. I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. But anyways, so the burger was one part of the story, but just the experience of being on the farm was great. Seeing those big giant cows and just seeing how they're cared for, right? So then the last part of this podcast, I wanted to touch on this whole thing and I was talking to my friend Scootley about this today when we were talking about the references to cattle haulers, right? Bull haulers or whatever you want to call them, right? It's a trucker. So here's the thing, right? So I didn't understand the true nature of a cattle hauler until I get around and I start dealing with, and I go to this farm, this ranch, and you see that type of driver has to be really good at their job, because if you wreck a trailer full of 40,000 pounds of cows, that could decimate a farm, right? A small cattle ranch that has, X amount of cows, that could really do a number on their livelihood. So you got to be good at what you do. You got to be timely. You got to be great. You got to be great. And then the beautiful thing is, look at what happens. You're dealing with all these animals, and you got to be a cowboy. Reuben can't be a cattle hauler. I got to be able to go do this ranch stuff if I even wanted to do that job. But respect and the context of the whole situation was kind of cool, because it makes you respect and put everything in perspective of the idea of the cattle hauler, the guys going down the road, and the reason why they have high horsepower trucks, the reason why I don't want to call them outlaws, because I don't think that's fair to them. The caliber of person you have to be able to do that, it's important. It's really, really important. And the reason why it's really, really important is because that's food and sustenance that you're carrying. And so you got to load them, unload them. You got to know what you're doing. And so it brought me to a better understanding of the idea of a cattle hauler and what they do. And if you're good at that, what else compares to that in the world of trucking? What else compares to that? That's a really good question, right? What else can I compare this to? What else can I look at and I can see I'm losing the sunlight, but I have a light a bit. But anyways, but that was that's what connected in my head, right? That's what immediately we were talking about this, and I was relating to this idea, and I was talking to my friend Scoots about this, and we were talking about it where it was like it does make it where it's a different job. It requires even more, right? So, and I do flatbed, right? So flatbed, it requires for you to get out there, use your hands and everything, but this is another level. You got to be able to deal with these cows. You got to have patience and compassion, but you also got to be firm in what you do. You got to be a tough breed of person, and maybe have grown up in this business on a farm, ranching. So I think that would be a very big challenge for like a city kid like me to eventually get to that. Could I do that? Absolutely, dude. I have ultimate belief in myself that I could actually do that job if I wanted to. But I enjoy where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I enjoy, doing this kind of stuff. And so, but anyways, I have no inclination to do that kind of job, but you have a newfound respect for those kind of people, of drivers that do that and have those relationships with those farms, Big farms, small farms, I don't think it matters. But again, that was the kind of crazy parallel that came to my head when I was experiencing all this stuff and having a great time. And, being a truck driver, you're connected to that, right? Because obviously being a truck driver, you're kind of you're out in the wilderness, if you would. Some, a lot of it's the highways, but every now and then I would go to a farm and go deliver stuff. So that's what's the appreciation of the whole deal, where, that's why I really enjoyed it. That's why I drove out here to the middle, and before the podcast ends, I'm gonna turn around the camera, and you guys can see where I shot it at. I'll probably get behind the camera and zoom out. That way you guys can see. I'll probably grab the camera and zoom out and show you guys. We have like about 2 minutes left, but anyways, that's what I thought was kind of cool to do that, right? Shoot this podcast from a different place. Hopefully the audio came out good. I'm going to work on this, and I made a little stand. This is an H5 mic. Shout out to Zoom and Canon. Those are the primary products that I use. I don't know why, but it just became that. I'm shooting on a Canon 80D, and it's one of the first cameras I bought, and I didn't have a lot of money at the time, and I paid it off. And I own it. I've had it for 5 or 6 years now. And the Zoom products, I have a bunch. I do the mics are from Zoom. This H5 portable mic is from Zoom. It has a lot of functionality, very versatile. And I think that, shout out to them for having quality products. Being able to learn how to use all this kind of stuff and do these kind of things, being self-taught, it's difficult, right? But it's like, it excites my brain, and it broadens my horizons. So that being said, that's my story. I had a great time, and kudos to everybody that allowed me to go hang out, and that was it. So what do you guys think about this? We're running out of time. We have less than a minute left. So I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to grab everything. I'm going to hold the mic, but I am going to show you guys. Hold on here. Let me hold on here. Hold on here. Let me there you go. Well, I'm just going to turn it around and show you guys where I'm filming at here. And then I'll end the podcast with that. So anyways, look at that. The cleanest air possible. Beautiful place.